Have you ever had one of those moments where your entire life changes in an instant? Where everything you thought you knew gets turned upside down? If you've ever experienced one of those pivotal moments that reshapes your future, hit that like button and subscribe to see more stories that might just mirror your own life's unexpected turns. My name is Eliza Chen, and I was absolutely certain of three things. I deserved the promotion I'd been chasing for 2 years, my boss Michael Reynolds was the most infuriating man I'd ever met, and the business conference in Seattle was my chance to finally prove myself. What I didn't know was that a simple hotel booking error would change everything I thought I knew about him, and myself. The conference had been planned for months. Our marketing firm was sending a team to represent our newest campaign, and as senior project manager, I had prepared meticulously. My presentation was flawless, my talking points memorized, and my confidence at an all-time high. This was my moment to shine in front of the industry's biggest names. After a delayed flight and a taxi driver who seemed determined to hit every pothole in Seattle, I finally arrived at the Westlake Grand Hotel. Rain poured down in sheets as I dragged my suitcase through the revolving doors, my hair plastered to my face and my blazer soaked through. Reservation for Chen, I told the receptionist, a young man with kind eyes who winced sympathetically at my drenched state. Of course, Ms. Chen. You're with Reynolds Marketing, correct? We have you in room 1542. Here's your key card. I thanked him and headed for the elevator, already dreaming of a hot shower and the plush hotel bed. The conference didn't start until tomorrow morning, which gave me plenty of time to dry off and review my notes one last time. When I reached the 15th floor, I followed the signs to room 1542, slid my keycard into the slot, and pushed open the door. And that's when my carefully ordered world collapsed. The room was already occupied. A suitcase lay open on the luggage rack, men's clothes neatly folded inside. A laptop sat open on the desk, and the bathroom door was closed, the sound of running water coming from behind it. I froze, my mind racing. Had the receptionist given me the wrong room? Should I leave? But before I could decide, the bathroom door opened, and out stepped Michael Reynolds, my boss, with nothing but a towel wrapped around his waist. We both screamed. "What the hell are you doing in my room?" he demanded, clutching the towel tighter. "Your room? This is my room." I held up my keycard as evidence, trying desperately to look anywhere but at his bare chest. Michael's face flushed red. "This has to be a mistake. I checked in 2 hours ago." Just then, a small voice called out from the adjoining room. "Dad? Is everything okay?" I hadn't noticed the connecting door to another room was slightly ajar. A little girl, no more than 6 years old, peeked through the gap. She had Michael's eyes, a warm hazel I'd never noticed before in our office's harsh fluorescent lighting. "Everything's fine, Lily," Michael said, his voice instantly softening. "Just a mix-up with the rooms. Go back to your movie, sweetheart." The little girl nodded and disappeared, closing the door behind her. Michael turned back to me, looking more human and vulnerable than I'd ever seen him. "That's my daughter, Lily. I had to bring her with me because her usual sitter is sick." I stood there, stunned. In the 3 years I'd worked at Reynolds Marketing, I'd never known Michael had a daughter. He'd always been just the boss to me, demanding, critical, and seemingly devoid of any life outside the office. "I'll go down to reception and sort this out," I said, reaching for my suitcase handle. Michael sighed. "Wait. Let me get dressed first, and I'll come with you." 5 minutes later, we stood at the reception desk as the young man frantically typed on his computer. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Reynolds, Ms. Chen. It seems we had a system error during a recent update. The hotel is completely booked because of the conference and a wedding party." He looked genuinely distressed. "We don't have any other rooms available tonight." "That's unacceptable," Michael said, his boss voice returning. "There must be another hotel nearby." The receptionist shook his head. "I've already checked, sir. With the conference and the Seafair Festival this weekend, everything within a 10-mile radius is booked solid. I felt a headache forming behind my eyes. So what are you suggesting? We can offer a complimentary roll-away bed for the room, and of course, your stay will be entirely free of charge. We'll also provide meal vouchers for our restaurant. Michael and I exchanged glances. Neither of us wanted to share a room, but what choice did we have? The presentation was tomorrow morning, and we couldn't risk missing it by driving around Seattle looking for accommodation that likely didn't exist. Fine, Michael finally said. But I expect significant compensation for this inconvenience. As we rode the elevator back up to the 15th floor, an awkward silence hung between us. I'd never been alone with Michael outside of work before, and now I was about to share a hotel room with him and his daughter. I didn't know you had a child, I said, trying to break the tension. Michael's expression softened slightly. Lily's mother left when she was 2. It's been just the 2 of us ever since. The elevator doors opened, and we walked down the hallway. Before we reached the room, Michael stopped. Look, Eliza, this isn't ideal for either of us. But let's make the best of it. The presentation tomorrow is important for the company, for all of us. I nodded, surprised by his reasonable tone. This wasn't the demanding boss I was used to. When we entered the room, Lily was sitting on the bed, watching a cartoon on the hotel TV. Her face lit up when she saw her father. "Daddy! The princess saved the dragon instead of the other way around," she exclaimed, pointing at the screen. Michael smiled, a genuine smile I'd never seen before. "That's great, Lily Pad. This is Ms. Chen. She works with Daddy, and there's been a mix-up with the rooms, so she's going to stay with us tonight." Lily studied me with curious eyes. "Do you like dragons?" I couldn't help but smile. "I do. Especially ones that need saving." That seemed to satisfy her, and she turned back to her show. The roll-away bed arrived shortly after, and we awkwardly negotiated the sleeping arrangements. Michael and Lily would take the king-sized bed, and I would take the roll-away. We ordered room service using our complimentary vouchers, and as we ate, I was surprised to find myself enjoying their company. Lily was bright and talkative, filling the silence with stories about her first-grade class and her pet goldfish named Bubbles. Michael was different around her, patient, attentive, and quick to laugh. It was like seeing a completely different person from the stern, demanding boss I knew. After dinner, Michael helped Lily get ready for bed while I worked on my presentation at the desk. When he returned, he sat on the edge of the bed with a sigh. "She's finally asleep. Sorry about the Disney songs. She can't sleep without them." I smiled. "It's fine. My niece is the same way." Michael looked surprised. "You have a niece?" "2, actually. My sister's kids. They're 8 and 10. I didn't know that. There's a lot we don't know about each other, I guess." He nodded thoughtfully. "That's true. We fell into conversation more easily than I would have expected. Michael told me about the challenges of being a single parent while running a company, and I shared stories about my journey from intern to senior project manager. We discovered we had both lost a parent young, his mother to cancer, my father to a heart attack. "Is that why you're so driven?" he asked. "Because of your dad?" The question caught me off guard. Maybe. He always believed I could do anything. When he died, I felt like I had to prove him right. Michael nodded. "I understand that. After Lily's mom left, I felt like I had to be perfect at everything, perfect boss, perfect father. It's exhausting." "You don't have to be perfect," I said softly. "Just present." Our eyes met, and for a moment, something shifted between us. Not romantic, not exactly, but a mutual recognition, an understanding. The moment was broken by Lily calling out in her sleep. Michael immediately went to her, stroking her hair and whispering reassurances until she settled back down. When he returned, he looked embarrassed. "She has nightmares sometimes." "You're a good dad," I said, and I meant it. He smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. "Thank you. That means a lot." We stayed up talking for hours, going over the presentation and then moving on to other topics, books we'd read, places we traveled, dreams we still had. By the time we finally went to sleep, I felt like I'd met Michael Reynolds for the first time. The next morning was a flurry of activity as we all got ready for the day. Michael took Lily to the hotel's daycare program, which thankfully had space for her, and we headed to the conference together. Our presentation was a success, better than I could have hoped. Michael and I had a natural rhythm, building off each other's points and handling questions with ease. The client was impressed, and by the end of the day, we had secured the contract. That night, the hotel found another room for me, but strangely, I felt a twinge of disappointment as I packed my things to move. "Eliza," Michael said as I was about to leave. "I wanted to say thank you. Not just for handling this situation so gracefully, but for what you said last night. About being present, not perfect. It's something I needed to hear." "You're welcome," I said. "And thank you for showing me there's more to you than just being the boss." He smiled. "Maybe when we get back to the office, we could grab coffee sometime? Not as boss and employee, but as friends?" I smiled back. "I'd like that." As I wheeled my suitcase to my new room, I realized that sometimes the biggest changes come from the smallest moments, like a hotel booking error that forces you to see someone in a completely new light. Camera zooms out as Eliza walks down the hallway, a small smile on her face. 6 months later, Michael and I still have coffee every week. He's still my boss, but he's also become a friend. Lily calls me Dragon Lady now, a nickname I've grown to love. And I did get that promotion, not because I proved myself at the conference, but because I finally learned that success isn't just about perfect presentations and long hours. It's about connection, understanding, and being present. If this story touched you in any way, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about life's unexpected turns. Sometimes the biggest mistakes lead to the most beautiful discoveries. Fade to channel logo.